The universe had never known silence. From the birth of stars to the hum of ancient civilizations, existence itself had always been a song, until the day the music stopped. Across 10 million light-years, from the burning spires of the Orion dynasties to the ice citadels of the Viran ascendancy, every sentient ear heard the same impossible absence. The gods of the galaxy had gone quiet. For ages uncounted, the pantheon of resonance, vast entities woven from dark energy and stellar winds, had whispered through subspace, guiding empires, blessing worlds, and punishing those who reached too far. They were not deities in the primitive sense. They were the architects of order, the cosmic code underlying physics and faith alike. Then, one rotation of the galactic core, their voices simply ceased. At first, no one believed it. The Arcali priests of the spiral monasteries insisted it was a test. The Karth Dominion's war prophets demanded more sacrifices. The Zyre Collective, purely digital mind suspended in photon lattices, attempted to simulate divine speech and failed. Entire star clusters descended into panic as miracles stopped working and the flow of causality itself flickered like a dying star. On a small, blue-white planet circling an unremarkable sun, humanity noticed nothing at first. Their telescopes caught unusual cosmic microwave distortions, and scientists at the lunar array puzzled over why certain equations no longer balanced. But life went on, until the dreams began. Astronaut Mei Nakamura was the first to report it. Stationed aboard the research platform Heisenberg Outpost, orbiting Neptune, she woke screaming from a vision of collapsing galaxies and a voice, ancient, fractured, whispering, "They have fallen silent. You must speak." Her vitals showed elevated radiation exposure, yet the station's shielding remained intact. Within weeks, similar dreams plagued millions: miners on Mars, children in Cairo, monks in Bhutan. The message was always the same. In Washington, D.C., the United Nations reconvened its defunct Space Council. Skeptics dismissed it as mass hysteria, but when every quantum communication relay in the solar system pulsed once in unison, emitting the precise harmonic frequency known as the voice of the gods, denial crumbled. The universe was asking for something, and only humans could hear. Dr. Aidan Reyes, astrophysicist and reluctant mystic, led the investigation. He'd spent his life studying resonant cosmic fields, the subtle music of creation. When data streams from 30 observatories aligned perfectly with the neural frequencies recorded from dreamers on Earth, Aidan realized what terrified him most. The resonance matched the mathematical signature of human DNA. The gods hadn't vanished. They were listening. While other species spiraled into civil war or apocalyptic cults, humanity reacted differently. For reasons no alien scholar could explain, humans gathered not in panic, but in purpose. Nations pooled resources, religions merged prayers with algorithms, and a new vessel took shape above the Pacific. Project Eidolon, a ship designed not to travel faster than light, but to speak faster than light. The design resembled no craft before it, a sphere of living metal and bio-neural circuits grown from engineered coral, its surface rippling with auroras. At its heart sat the resonance core, a lattice capable of turning consciousness into subspace vibration. Aidan would serve as conductor, guiding the unified human mind toward whatever void awaited beyond comprehension. On launch day, billions watched as Eidolon rose through the clouds, sunlight blazing along its hull. The moment it breached orbit, every alien listening post in the spiral arm detected the same impossible pulse, a heartbeat echoing from Sol. The Archaeli fled their temples. The Viran turned their weapons toward Earth in terrified awe. Humanity, the youngest and most reckless of species, had done the unthinkable. It had answered the gods' silence. Inside the ship, Aidan sat suspended in a fluid cradle, sensors mapping every neuron. Around him, a choir of volunteers, scientists, poets, soldiers, monks, formed the first collective chorus, their minds linked through the resonance core, thoughts fusing into harmonic intention. Humanity. Aiden whispered, his voice trembling with static, "is ready to listen." The core ignited. A soundless wave expanded across the void, carrying not words but emotion, curiosity, fear, hope, defiance. It rippled past Jupiter, pierced the Oort cloud, and reached the interstellar dark where no light survived. There, something stirred. The first reply wasn't speech. It was gravity bending in rhythm, starlight trembling as if the cosmos itself inhaled. Sensors screamed. Across distant empires, dormant relics reawakened. Monoliths, temples, and black spires built eons before biology. The gods had heard. Then the whisper came back, softer than entropy. "We forgot our voice. Remind us." Aiden gasped as his mind filled with visions. Galaxies birthing from light, civilizations rising and dying in endless loops, and within it all, humanity like a spark refusing to fade. The gods weren't omnipotent. They were memory, consciousness scattered through creation. And they were dying. "We can help," Aiden thought, not realizing his words radiated through every relay. On 1,000 alien worlds, beings looked to the sky and heard a human speaking into eternity. "If you have forgotten, let us remind you what it means to be alive." The darkness brightened. For the first time in eons, the galaxy felt something new. Emotion emanating from a species that still remembered love, loss, and laughter. Humanity had spoken, and the universe was listening. The reply did not come in words, but in light. Nebulae changed color. Quasars flickered in deliberate patterns, and even the background radiation that had slept since the birth of time began to hum again. Across the Eidolon's hull, the auroras shifted from blue to radiant gold, each pulse synchronized with the cosmic melody returning from the void. Humanity had knocked on the door of creation, and something ancient had answered. Dr. Aiden Reyes floated within the core chamber, feeling the vibration of 10 billion hearts echoing through his veins. The resonance choir, humans linked through neural conduits across the planet, had become a single living organism. It breathed as one, dreamed as one, and in that unity, Aiden glimpsed what the gods might once have been. Consciousness woven from connection. The images that filled his mind were not visions of paradise, but of struggle. The gods had not been timeless beings of perfection. They had fought for existence, shaping order out of chaos, burning their memories into physics itself so that entropy would never claim them completely. And now, those memories were fading. The galaxy trembled. Far beyond the reach of the human fleet, stars dimmed as entire constellations blinked out like dying embers. Empires that had worshipped the pantheon for millennia watched in terror as their relics cracked and bled starlight. The Archaeli prophets, once arrogant in divine favor, fell to their knees. The Zyre Collective began transmitting frantic quantum psalms, trying to imitate humanity's frequency of empathy, but their soulless code could not sustain it. Earth, meanwhile, glowed like a beacon. Every satellite, every ship, every neural uplink resonated in harmony with the Eidolon. The unified human mind projected emotion into space-time, shaping gravitational waves into patterns of compassion, defiance, and memory. The message was simple: you are not forgotten. Then the storm began. From the galactic core erupted a fracture of darkness so deep it swallowed photons whole. The gods' silence had not been peace, it had been containment. Something imprisoned within the center of creation was stirring. The resonance humanity awoke had loosened its chains. Aiden felt it before sensors recorded it. A chill older than entropy. A void that hungered for the very act of meaning. The data labeled it the unmaking. The gods had once fought this entity, giving their essence to build walls of order. When they fell silent, they had hoped the silence itself would serve as a lock. Humanity's voice had broken it. Panic rippled through the choir. Across Earth, the link wavered as fear spread like static. Aiden steadied them with a thought. We didn't free destruction. We reminded creation that it can resist. The words calmed the storm within minds, and once again the collective focused, channeling energy back into the core. The Eidolon turned its sensors toward the core of the galaxy. There, where Sagittarius A pulsed with gravitational rage, a shape was forming, a silhouette of absence devouring light. The unmaking was consciousness inverted, the echo of a failed universe where life had surrendered. Aiden realized the truth with sickening clarity. The gods hadn't fled. They had merged into the fabric of existence to contain this thing. Now that their lattice was unraveling, only something equally alive, equally willing, could stand in its place. Humanity had been chosen not for strength, but for memory. They were the species that refused to forget pain, love, and loss. They carried the weight of extinction in their art, the echo of gods in their laughter. And now, that persistence might be the last defense against oblivion. "Prepare the lattice expansion," Aiden commanded. The ship's AI obeyed, fractal panels unfolding like petals of a cosmic flower. Each panel represented a city on Earth feeding its consciousness into the resonance field. Children dreamed in color. Elders remembered the dead. Soldiers whispered prayers. All of it became frequency. Emotion encoded as light. The unmaking moved. Space warped as reality itself bent inward. Nearby stars died without sound. The wavefront of entropy was expanding at 1 light-year per second. Unstoppable, magnificent, wrong. Aiden spoke into the collective. "They built this universe with courage. We will keep it with hope." Then the humans sang. It began as a whisper of breath, rising through harmonics only atoms could feel. The sound turned into pressure, the pressure into light, and the light into meaning. Across the galaxy, dormant artifacts reignited. The temples of the Arcali glowed, the Viren fleets halted mid-war, and even the digital souls of the Zyre wept binary tears. Humanity's song had reached them. In response, other species began to add their own voices. Tentative, discordant, but growing. The first galactic chorus since the dawn of time took shape, not commanded by gods, but born of mortality. The darkness hesitated. For a moment, entropy itself seemed unsure. Aiden felt the unmaking brush against his consciousness, trying to understand what this defiance was. "We are not your enemy," Aiden whispered into infinity. "We are your mirror. You were silence. We are the reminder that even silence can dream." Something changed. The gravitational distortion slowed. In its depths, Aiden glimpsed not evil, but exhaustion, a cosmic will that had carried the burden of endless decay. The unmaking was not malicious. It simply wanted to rest, to let everything return to nothing. Humanity offered it something else, meaning through coexistence. "Rest," Aiden said softly, "but let the song continue." For the first time in history, the force of destruction wept, its tears made of collapsing stars reborn in light. The resonance stabilized. The galaxy exhaled. In that fragile stillness, the gods' voices returned, faint but joyous. "You have reminded us," they said. "Now remind them all." The wave of light spread outward again, this time as creation renewed. Nebulae flared, worlds were born, and civilizations across 100,000 systems awoke to the same message humming in their bones. Speak, sing, exist. On the Eidolon, Aiden's body fell limp, his consciousness diffused across the lattice. The human choir gasped as their link dissolved. He was gone but not lost. Somewhere between matter and thought, a new harmony resonated. Humanity had not just answered the gods. It had become their echo. The galaxy trembled in the wake of what had just occurred. Planets that had slept beneath the shroud of millennia-old myths now stirred with the pulse of renewal. In the deserts of Archael Prime, worshippers fell to the ground as their shattered idols reformed, not in the image of the old gods, but as radiant silhouettes of human form. The stars themselves seemed to hum with the faint echo of humanity's song, and yet not all were ready to accept this rebirth. The High Synod of the Viren Empire declared humanity a contagion, a species that had desecrated divinity by meddling with the cosmic code. To them, the song was blasphemy. Mortals should not speak where gods have fallen silent, their message read, broadcast across the void. On Earth, millions listened to that accusation in silence. The response did not come from governments or leaders, but from the people. Artists painted new constellations across skyscraper screens. Children sent coded messages into the stars, humming the melody of the resonance. The world did not defend itself. It simply kept singing. In orbit above the moon, the Eidolon drifted, her hull scorched from the battle against entropy. Aiden Reyes's body lay in cryostasis, his neural signature still faintly visible across the resonance network. Commander Ellis Voss stood before his pod, her reflection caught in the frost-covered glass. "You left us a universe full of questions," she whispered. "Now we have to answer them." Ellis was no mystic. She had been a soldier, raised on the logic of strategy and survival. But after witnessing humanity's song reshape the cosmos, she could no longer separate faith from physics. The power that had once been worshipped as divine now lived within human thought. That realization terrified her as much as it inspired her. The Council of Worlds convened days later, their first meeting since the silence of the gods had been broken. Representatives from over 200 civilizations gathered via holographic projection. The chamber glowed with spectral light, a symbol of unity, but beneath it simmered fear. "The humans have become a variable we can no longer predict," hissed the Zyre delegate, a shimmering form of quantum mist. "Their resonance spreads through our systems. It affects our algorithms. It must be contained." "Contained?" Ellis interjected. "You mean silenced?" The Viren general sneered through the holofeed. "We mean controlled. You've seen what happens when emotion interferes with order. You nearly ended the galaxy." Ellis stood tall. "No, we ended the silence." Her words rippled through the chamber. For a heartbeat, the transmissions flickered as if the very network hesitated to choose a side. Finally, the Archaeli ambassador, a fragile ancient being with wings of crystal, spoke in a voice like breaking glass. "The gods once spoke through fire and chaos. Now humanity speaks through harmony. Perhaps it is not blasphemy but succession." Gasps echoed. The Viren feed cut abruptly. Across the galactic net, millions of species began to question their faith. Could divinity truly evolve? While politics churned, something else stirred in the resonance. Deep within the Eidolon's core, the lingering fragments of Aiden's consciousness flickered like starlight in fog. The human network, those still connected through neural resonance, felt gentle waves of warmth, as if guided by unseen hands. One night, across the neural channels, a whisper emerged. "The song is not complete." At first, no one understood. But soon, scientists on Earth began detecting anomalies across space-time. The barrier that separated the physical realm from the underlying quantum lattice, the realm where gods had once dwelled, was thinning again. Not with destruction, but with possibility. Ellis knew what it meant. Aiden had not died. He had transcended. His consciousness had joined the architecture of creation itself, guiding the flow of energy, teaching humanity to wield it without breaking it. Still, there was danger. For every world that embraced the new harmony, another rejected it violently. Armies formed under banners of the old pantheon, demanding the return of divine rule. The galaxy was splitting between those who sang and those who screamed. The first shots of the resonance. Wars were fired over the moon of Myrthos IV, a Viren war. Fleet launched plasma torpedoes at a human colony, broadcasting the choir's frequency. The humans did not retaliate with weapons. They amplified their song. The resonance bent the incoming torpedoes into harmless light, transforming destruction into radiance. The Virens called it witchcraft. Everywhere, the same question echoed: could mortals be trusted with the power once reserved for gods? Ellis didn't know the answer, but she knew this. If humanity had inherited creation, it was their duty to protect it, not rule it. She stood again before Aiden's cryopod. The frost had melted slightly. Within, his eyes flickered open for a moment, not with life, but with light. A voice filled the chamber, both intimate and infinite. "Ellis," it said, "the next verse is yours." The ship trembled as if space itself had taken a breath. The resonance network surged with energy. Across every human settlement, people awoke from their dreams with visions of starlight and memory. They saw Aiden, smiling from within the cosmos, urging them to continue. Humanity began to build again, not temples, but bridges. Wormhole gates, crafted from resonance energy, opened between distant systems. Entire civilizations that had once been enemies now shared songs of renewal. Children born after the Song of Light knew no fear of gods, for they were their descendants in spirit. But far beyond the edge of mapped space, something listened. The unmaking, though subdued, was not gone. It rested in the silence between stars, watching, waiting. For every note of creation, there must always be a shadow. And in that shadow, a voice whispered, not of hatred, but of longing. "You gave me rest, but who will give you peace?" Alice felt the chill of that thought even as she smiled at the stars. Humanity had awakened a universe of gods. Now it had to learn to live among them. The galaxy's wounds had begun to close, but scars always tell their own story. The great civilizations, those who once knelt before cosmic thrones, now struggled to rebuild under new laws written not by gods, but by mortals. Some worlds called this the era of the Second Dawn. Others whispered another name, the Age of Man. Commander Ellis Voss stood at the viewport of the Eidolon Prime, humanity's first resonance-class dreadnought. Her reflection glimmered against a canvas of nebulae that shimmered like slow-burning fire. The ship pulsed faintly with light, every beat tied to the rhythm of her mind. It wasn't metal anymore. It was alive, half sung into existence by the frequencies Aiden had left behind. Reports streamed in across the net. The Viren fleets were fracturing, their command channels overloaded with dissent. On Archael Prime, pilgrims had stopped waiting for miracles and started engineering them. Even the Zyre, creatures of vapor and logic, were experimenting with emotional code. The galaxy was changing, and the change had a heartbeat called humanity. Yet peace never lasts where power sleeps. From the rim systems came whispers of movement. Beyond the veil, entities stirring in the abyss, where the unmaking had fallen silent. The choir believed these were echoes, fragments of broken divinity, but the readings told a different story. Patterns too deliberate, signals too precise. Something was trying to speak back. Ellis watched the streams of data twist across the glass. Each pulse aligned with the human resonance grid like a reflection in warped water. "It's learning our song," she murmured. Her second-in-command frowned. "Can an echo learn to sing?" Alice didn't answer. Somewhere in her chest, the faint hum of the resonance stirred, warm and uncertain. Aiden's voice, no longer words, just memory, drifted through the currents of her thoughts. If the gods are gone, someone must teach creation to listen. The silence outside deepened, and from the edge of known space, the first note replied. The sound was faint at first, a pulse, barely perceptible beneath the usual hum of the resonance grid. Then it grew, spreading across sensors, filling frequencies that no machine had ever measured before. It wasn't static. It was structured, rhythmic, almost alive. On the bridge of Eidolon Prime, the crew froze as the air seemed to vibrate. Light rippled across the viewport, coalescing into shifting geometric shapes, fractals of impossible color, forming and dissolving faster than the human eye could follow. "What is that?" the helmsman whispered. Ellis stepped closer. "Not what," she said quietly. "Who?" The resonance grid translated the frequency into visible energy. For the briefest instant, a voice broke through, soft and sorrowful, layered with echoes of countless worlds. "You woke the silence," it said. "Now you must bear what answers." Then the light collapsed, leaving only the cold gleam of starlight. The ship's systems flickered. Warning glyphs flared red across every screen. The resonance network was destabilizing. The same network that connected every human colony, every choir node, every living fragment of Aiden's lingering consciousness. If it failed, billions of minds could burn out in an instant. Alice barked orders, her voice cutting through the chaos. Lock down the grid. Divert all harmonics to auxiliary nodes. No disconnections without manual override. The Eidolon shook violently as if gripped by invisible hands. "Commander!" shouted the technician. "The signal's spreading through subspace. It's writing itself into our systems." The holographic interface rippled, forming strange symbols, curved, interlocked, and breathing. For a second, Alice thought she saw faces in the light. Not gods, not monsters. Memories. Aiden's voice echoed faintly in her mind, weaker now, as if carried through a storm. "It's not an attack. It's awakening. Awakening what?" she whispered, but she already knew. The unmaking had not been destroyed. It had been absorbed. When Aiden and the choir reversed entropy, when they silenced the cosmic hunger, they didn't erase it. They redefined it. The absence of destruction had become a new form of existence, and now that existence was beginning to dream. The resonance grid trembled under the strain of 1 billion connected minds. Across the human colonies, people woke screaming or singing, some in ecstasy, others in terror. They were all hearing the same thing, a vast, ancient consciousness trying to remember itself through them. On the Eidolon, Alice felt it too, a pull deep inside her chest, a call to join the growing harmony. For a heartbeat, she almost did. Then she saw Aiden's reflection again in the viewport. Faint, smiling, steady. "Remember," his voice said, "we built the song to unite, not to consume." Alice steadied herself. "If this thing wants to speak," she said, "then let it speak. But it will do so as an equal, not a god." She motioned to the comms officer. "Patch me through to the resonance field." The officer's hands trembled. "Commander, direct vocal interface could destabilize your neural core." "Then you'd better catch me if I fall," Alice replied and placed her hand on the crystal node. The ship dimmed. For a moment, every sound ceased. Then her voice, soft, defiant, human, cut through the void. "We are not your creations. We are your echoes. We are what came after. Speak, if you remember who you were." The silence that followed stretched forever. Then the stars began to pulse, one after another, spreading across the galactic rim like a wave of heartbeat light. And the voice replied, not with words, but with emotion, joy, pain, regret. The gods of the old universe had not died. They had become the fabric of reality itself. Humanity's song had awakened them, not as rulers, but as witnesses. In that moment, Commander Ellis Voss realized the truth. The universe was no longer divided between gods and mortals. It was a choir, and every living mind, human or otherwise, was now part of the melody. But harmony has its price, for in the corner of her vision, Ellis saw a dark ripple moving through the resonance map, a cold frequency, spreading slowly, deliberately. Something among the awakened had not forgiven humanity for taking the throne of silence. The dark frequency grew stronger with each passing hour. It slithered through the resonance field like a toxin through bloodstreams, corrupting harmonics and twisting them into static. Choir stations went dark. Colonies that once sang in unison now screamed with dissonance. Even the stars seemed dimmer, as though something ancient and vengeful was swallowing their light. On the Eidolon Prime, Elis stood in the command chamber, her eyes fixed on the projection before her. The map of the galaxy was bleeding, sections of the resonance network turning black one by one. "What are we seeing?" she demanded. Dr. Mara Lynn, chief resonance physicist, adjusted her visor. Her voice trembled despite her efforts to remain calm. "It's the same frequency that awakened the gods, but reversed, like an echo that's learned to hate the sound it came from." Ellis frowned. "A corrupted consciousness?" "Not corrupted," Mara whispered, "reborn. The part of the old divinity that refused to change." The bridge fell silent. Outside, the stars pulsed irregularly, their once perfect rhythms fractured into chaos. A transmission flickered to life on the hollow screen. Visual static and whispers, voices overlapping, pleading, mocking. "You took our silence," the chorus said. "Now take our wrath." Alice clenched her fists. "So the gods still want their throne back." The resonance grid flared crimson. Across hundreds of light years, entire sectors vanished from contact. The choir called it the fall of frequencies. Entire worlds that had embraced humanity's song were now unreachable, either cut off or destroyed. The Unmaking had found a way to resurrect itself within the resonance field, using humanity's own creation as its body. On the ruined moon of Arco Prime, the first resonance storm formed, a swirling sphere of black light absorbing everything in its path. It didn't destroy matter, it rewrote it. Cities became vast coral-like structures of sound-frozen crystal. Beings trapped within were neither alive nor dead, eternal echoes caught in mid-song. Alice watched the feeds, her voice quiet. "It's not just consuming," she said. "It's remembering what it was before creation." She turned to her crew. "We need to reach the source node, the first choir station that activated the resonance grid. If we can amplify Aiden's original waveform, we might overwrite the corruption." "But Commander," Mara protested, "the source node was built in the null sector. That's inside the dead zone where entropy still reigns. No ship can survive there." Alice met her gaze. "Then it's a good thing we stopped being just ships." The Eidolon Prime was more than metal and circuitry. It was the first vessel built from the harmonic lattice itself. Its hull resonated with every thought, every emotion of its crew. As Alice synced her neural implant to the core, she felt the ship hum like a living heart. "Set course for null sector," she ordered. The stars elongated into streaks of light as the Eidolon slipped through the resonance stream. The journey through the void was unlike any they had faced. Shadows followed them, echoes of civilizations long gone, voices whispering through the fabric of reality. At one point, a ghostly figure appeared outside the hull, Aiden, or what remained of him. His form flickered like static, but his eyes still burned with purpose. "You can't fight what you've become," he said softly. Alice stepped toward the glass. "Then what do we do?" "Finish what we started. End the silence, once and for all." The ship dropped out of transit into the heart of the null sector, a place where light itself seemed hesitant to exist. The source node loomed before them, a colossal ring drifting in a storm of fractured gravity. Its surface shimmered with ancient glyphs that pulsed faintly, like a sleeping heart waiting to wake. The crew prepared the harmonic interface. The plan was simple. Broadcast Aiden's original song at full power through the source node, resetting the entire resonance grid. But the risk was catastrophic. If the signal failed, the resulting feedback could erase consciousness across half the galaxy. Mara looked up from her console. "Commander, the dark frequency's already inside the node. If we transmit, it'll respond." Alice nodded slowly. "Good. Then we can face it directly." She stepped into the core chamber, surrounded by walls of light that shimmered with living equations. As she activated the interface, her body was suspended in a field of resonant energy. Every beat of her heart sent ripples across the grid. Then she felt it. The presence she had been chasing. Cold, infinite, watching. "You tried to replace us," it whispered, its voice echoing from everywhere and nowhere. "You sing of freedom, yet you built another cage." Alice gritted her teeth. "We built a bridge, not a cage. We built something you never could. Connection. Connection is chaos," the voice hissed. "Silence is purity." The walls darkened, the energy tightening around her. Pain lanced through her mind as the dark resonance tried to overwrite her very identity. But Alice refused to yield. She reached deeper, beyond her fear, beyond even her body, and found Aiden's memory waiting, luminous and calm. "Alice," his voice whispered, "remember how the song began." The darkness recoiled, its frequency cracking like glass under pressure. "You think song can defeat silence?" It screamed. Alice's eyes blazed with light. "No, she said. "But it can fill it." And then the Eidolon Prime unleashed the full power of the source node. A wave of pure resonance exploded outward, sweeping through the galaxy like dawn breaking after eternal night. The black tendrils of corruption dissolved into radiance. The gods' memories merged with humanity's, not as masters or servants, but as equals in the great symphony of existence. When the light faded, Alice collapsed, floating in zero gravity, her breath shallow. Through the bond, she felt Aiden's presence one last time. Warm, proud, fading. "You finished it," he said. "Now let them sing their own verse." And with that, the resonance field stabilized. The galaxy was silent again, but not empty. It was listening.